Hey guys, welcome back to Sweet Hot Rods and Honey. I'm Daryl, and today we're gonna take a look at some of the upholstery jobs that I'm working on and give you an update on the 55 Chevy's interior. So let's get started. So I've got the back seat completed. The seat part is finished and looks fine with the exception of this puckering that I have around the tunnel. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. I tried a little bit of heat, but that just wasn't enough to pull it in taut. So I've got to work on that. The back seat, the backrest part of the back seat is finished. And sorry, I've got it covered up here. But that turned out perfect. And I have the visors finished with green cloth, as you see. And so they're looking pretty good. And then over here, I'm down in my basement, and it's Memorial Day's coming up, so I got to get the flags out. And hope everybody has a good Memorial Day weekend. But here we have the side panels, and I have the two back, the rear seat panels almost finished. I have the cloth glued onto the masonite board, and that's looking pretty good. And I'll show you how I did that. But you know, these seams and gaps are really pretty nice. And I used a closed cell backing panels behind the vinyl and the cloth. In some cases, I had some old cheap carpet that I used as a backer, and that should be great. It's got a nice feel. So I have the two sides for the back seat. What I'll have to do is finish off these front edges. They'll get folded back and glued onto the back and stapled so they don't, release and come loose. The top edge, there's a garnish molding that's going to hold that in place, so that raw edge is fine. And the bottom at the floor, I think this one piece just has to be folded under the back. Part of that, the seat, is going to hide that. So those are looking good. And on the, I think at this top seam is going to be this stainless trim molding that goes across there like that. So I got to polish these stainless pieces. So on the front side panels, so I haven't glued these down to the masonite. And you can see the closed cell foam and this carpet. So those turned out really well so far. So how I did those was these pieces were mated so that each backer was flush with each other, and ran stitching with my sewing machine up along that edge. After I got that in place, I used a spray adhesive, and so in order to not have puckering after I apply it onto the backer board, I glued the bottom side, and then this mating between the two pieces of vinyl and the cloth, and folded it over. So you want to make sure that you don't have any looseness there, so that when you put the final adhesive on top, that you don't have a pucker there. So I made that mistake in a couple spots on the back panels. So what I've got to do is finish this off, and I'll show you. This is basically, if I can do this one-handed. So I'm getting these even with each other, then in the stitching. On these curve areas, I ran stitching up to the end of the straight part. And here, this is basically glued with spray adhesive and then folded over. So it's not going to go anywhere. And in fact, this top seam will go like this. And then this stainless trim will go into that. So that seam is going to be hidden. I mean, it's okay. So that's going to look great. But the other seams are just open. So anyway, these two pieces still have to be joined together. And let's see. So I'll do that. So, yep. So sew them up, the straight part, that's easy to do. And then you'll have to basically glue these. So that's what I did. So that's in work. And over here at my sewing machine, let me get in here, get some light. I have basically the same, I guess, same status on the other side as the passenger side. So let me just set this up the way it would be sewn. These pieces would just be joined together so that the foam is flush with each other. Make sure you line up these back edges so that at the turn it'll be matched with the other seam and padding. So that's what's going on with these panels. The backs, or the front seat, is somewhat embarrassing because this, I mean, it looks fine by itself, but the back seat is the opposite. So what I ended up doing was these two sides should be swapped, and I messed that up. So because this gap, or this drop, should be in the middle, so it should look like a V, and that's what the back seat looks like. So I got to take those covers off and put them back on the right way. Got to swap them from side to side. But everything else on this front seat is looking great. So basically happy with that. And these side, I don't know what they're called, side bolsters that cover the edge of the front seat. These go in here like this. get screwed in here. So what happened was, when I tried to put this piece on, it was cold. It was during this winter, and I couldn't get these this vinyl to stretch. So I got to tear that off and redo them. I'm gonna wait till last thing on those. I'm not in a big hurry to do those. And these other pieces were the vertical part. It goes on the side of the upper part of the seat, and those are not right. So these pieces have to be redone. I've got the window garnish moldings ready to go. Front seat, back windows. I have the kick boards for the front ready to go, and this is where there's a vent. So they're okay. I've got this bolt rope, or I forget what it's called. That's ready to go, but I think I used a different vinyl. So I may have to remake that if the vinyl doesn't match perfectly. It's hard to see in this light, but I think the one is lighter than the other. Yep. So I'll have to redo that molding, and I have to paint these guys turquoise to match the interior, the way the colors go. Some of these interior trim pieces are white, some are green, and I forget if this goes in this may be the front. I don't recall if it was the front dash molding or the rear package deck. So that's what's happening. I'm gonna go upstairs here to the garage, and I'm sure you guys have seen and I've been doing this up in the garage with the door open, so there's plenty of ventilation. This is I have an old spray gun I'm using, and put adhesive in there. This is the adhesive I'm using to spray onto the back of the finished cloth panels, and the opposite side on the masonite panels. So this is good stuff, but it's got a wicked smell, and you need ventilation because it's highly flammable. So that's been working out, and I'm sure you've seen upholsterers that, upholstering jobs that use it that way. So I thought I'd give it a try. Get the foam panels flush with each other. We're just going to sew the straight part first. Clip them together, keep them from sliding apart. So we'll just sew this. Yep, gotta thread the needle. All right, so unfortunately the camera just cut out on me when I sewed this. So we've got these two pieces sewn on the back sides. And so we have this straight part, fine. Now we've got to take care of this rounded edge. And I think instead of sewing all that, I'm going to make sure that we don't bind anything together. So also we've got to put some relief cuts into this corner. So don't want to go down too far, but yet just enough to relieve let's trim off some of this extra. Let's put some relief cuts here. Put some more on the green cloth side. So when this gets attached, this piece is going to be folded down. I'll trim some of this off too. This is going to get folded down, adhesive. So let's well, use high strength 3M number 90 contact adhesive. So just in where the two pieces meet is where we want to put adhesive, not in the exposed side on the other side. So you got to be a little careful with this, not to get overspray onto that finished side. We'll wait a few minutes until that gets tacky and we'll put them together. Alright, it's been a couple minutes and so we'll get these guys together. Just be careful. And so to lay these down, and we want to make sure that has adhesive on, instead of leaving this floppy when we put it onto this masonite board. We want to make sure that that's glued down. So we'll do the same thing here, only on this straight part right now. And I think what I'm going to do is run a line of stitching down this stretch so that these pieces don't come apart. This is kind of coming apart right here a little bit. So we just want to make sure that it's all secured. And let me do another little bit on this. Let's give it another couple minutes. So we got this piece glued down. Nothing is loose. And I'm going to run some stitching across here just to keep this from opening up. I hope that at the corner, I hope that it doesn't open this section up. So we'll see what happens. You gotta be really careful. Maybe this won't work. I may end up just gluing it down. There we go. Well, that should be okay. Even this side, I think. Yep, that should work fine. Alright, so let me just finish gluing this one tab down here, and we should be finished and ready to put this glued onto the masonry.
Okay, so we have, we're going to use a sprayer and get this covered. set this to the side. Let me load up. I think I ran out. Yep. Let me add some more adhesive. Alright. We're ready to go again. We got a full canister. Now, these done with all that I put in. And that was about up to that point. Alright, so let's set this aside. And let's wait a few more minutes till this gets tacky, and then we're going to lay the masonite board over top. It's been about 10 minutes, so we're going to take the masonite board and lay it over top. What I did was made registration marks where the corners are going to be, where the edges will be on the masonite, so that we'll get it down exactly where it needs to be. So, wish me luck. Alright, so we'll get this corner that we've got registration mark on first. Problem is, the difficult part is trying to get both sides. Because once it sticks, it's difficult to adjust. Alright, so we got two edges. pretty close. And I'm going to flip this over. I think that looks good. The next step will be to, actually, I'm going to get the other piece of masonite and lay it on top of here with some weight just to keep it positive pressure and keep the contact cement pressed to the masonite board. But I think it looks really pretty good. The seams are all consistent because we glued them and laid them over. They're not twisted one way or the other. They're staying uniform. Okay, cool.
So that's just about it for the upholstering. The one last thing I've got to do is, and I might ask my buddy to give me a hand, is the sealing and putting in the headliner. I've got it all ready to go. I bought a kit from Cars Inc. And that's where the upholstering came from, but I had to make the side panels, of course. But the seat covers came pre-made, so it's just basically assembling them onto the frames, and the same with the headliner. So that's going to be another video, and so all that I have for today, and I'll probably make another video after I get these side panels applied, or maybe I'll just show you how it goes. So, all right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.